Hello and welcome. I'm Richard Watson and this is Anglais the Easy Way. Today I'd like to talk about a book called Walden by Henry David Thoreau. It's an old book written in the 1850s, 60s, something like that. And it's kind of one of the foundations of American philosophy in some ways. It's about himself. He's writing about himself. And he decides to go into the forest for a couple of years. In fact, 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days, living in a little cabin that he built for himself near a pond. And he tried to understand the essential nature of life by separating himself from the distractions of society. Basically, he spent his time finding food, cooking, building things, and just looking at nature and the world around him and writing. And he left the world because it was too complicated, which is quite funny if we think about it, because 1860s are not that complicated compared to today. But he was trying to find the real nature of life. So it's kind of a strange book because it talks about philosophy, society, education, the ancient Greeks or Romans and philosophy and literature. But at the same time, you can have a whole chapter about two groups of ants fighting or a duck going underwater. So it's this strange mixture of philosophy and very simple descriptions of nature and reflections on them. So Henry David Thoreau, who's the author, is a transcendentalist philosopher and writer, and he's trying to live a life of simplicity and self-sufficiency to really see what life is about. So why is this book interesting? Well, it offers a profound examination of key philosophical ideas such as self-reliance, individualism, and the value of nature. It's a critique of materialism. It's a sharp critique of consumerism and societal pressures to accumulate wealth. The prose is really beautiful. He's a great writer. It's kind of poetic, the way it describes nature, and has very evocative language. And the themes are really relevant. The search for meaning, the need for simplicity, the importance of environmental awareness are more and more relevant today, perhaps, than when they were written. To give you an example, he tells a story of a guy who comes up to him and says, "I know you like to travel. I'm surprised you haven't tried taking the new railway line to the next town." And he answers, "If I want to take the train, I need to pay for the fare. And to do that, I'd have to get a job in a factory and maybe work for a week. And the next town is only 30 miles and I can walk that each day." And he said, "I'd be quicker walking there myself than working in a factory to make the money to travel on the train." And he goes on to say that probably if he went around the world, it would be the same. He could walk around the world faster than earning the money to do it. Anyway, a little bit exaggerated today. I say that as someone who has family in New Zealand. I'm pretty sure it's quicker to work and fly there than to walk, but still. So who would like to read this book? Which kind of person would find this book interesting? Well, people who are interested in philosophy, obviously. People who like things written about nature, and anybody who likes transcendentalism. Well, I'm not even sure if there are many of those around now. People who are looking for a more meaningful life with more intentions, like intentionally simple. Could be people who appreciate reflective and introspective writing, or who are critical of consumerism and materialism, and people who are interested in the intersection and relationship between humans and nature. Okay, who won't like this book? Well, if you want a fast-paced action story, don't read this book. If you find philosophical discussions boring or irrelevant, don't read it. If you want something simple or straightforward where the meaning is clear, don't read it. And if you don't think it's a good idea to try to be self-reliant, you might find this a bit obtuse, right? We're in an interconnected world now, and we can't all go and live in the forest for 2 years. One of the funny things is he said that even alone, even as an inexperienced kind of person in the woods, he only needed to work about 2 or 3 hours a day to find enough food or to grow enough food or prepare things. And the rest of his time he was free. And he contrasts this with farmers who get up at dawn and work until the sun goes down. I'm going to read you some quotes. Now, they're not very easy, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to give it to you straight. Remember, this was written a long time ago. Some of the language is a bit dated, but it's not so bad because it does come from the New World. It's an American writer, obviously. So here's a quote. "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear. Dear here means precious, like in French. Nor did I wish to practice resignation unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck all the marrow of life. Marrow is the thing that's inside your bone. To suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like, like a Spartan, as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swathe and shave close, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms, and if it proved to be mean, why then to get the whole and genuine meanness of it and publish it to the world. Or if it were sublime, to know it by experience and be able to give a true account of it in my next excursion. Again, a little bit complicated to read, but he's basically saying, I want to find out what life is really all about. And if real life is poverty and dirt and ugliness, I wanted to experience it. And if it was sublime, I wanted to experience it so he could tell us about it. Here's another one, a bit easier, this one. I learned this, at least, by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. He will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around him and within him, or the old laws to be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense. So what is he saying? He's saying that if you move forward with intention and some courage, that the world kind of reorganizes around you. Now, he's not the first person to say this, but also if you listen to a lot of the great achievers in the world, great businessmen, great sportsmen, they kind of say the same thing, that often our doubts hold us back, and as you push forward, things reorganize around you to help you. Anyway, it's a reassuring thought for us. I think his most famous quote, it's a short one, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Now, it's funny because we often use this quote now to talk about people who don't like their job, who go to work every day and do a job that's not rewarding, that doesn't inspire them, and they just go to the same job every day because they need to. Quiet desperation. We don't hear about it, they don't talk about it. Anyway, I'll give you one more. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, means if he doesn't walk the same as everyone else, perhaps it's because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away. Follow your bliss. Remember this, we've had it in another one. If something's important to it, follow it. See where it leads you. I'll give you a couple more short quotes. Men are working so hard to get things that they do not have time to enjoy them. This was written a long time ago. I think he's right. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I could go on forever with this book. I really like it. It's one of these books that a lot of people have heard about but haven't actually read. It's great. Dig into it where you want, jump around. You don't have to read it from the beginning to the end. Anyway, I'll stop there. As always, I'm talking too much. Don't worry, I'll catch you next time. Don't forget to subscribe.